Hello everyone, it's the weekend. Welcome again to Massey United Insurance's Line and Length. It's the cricket program where we look at the sport not only in the region but internationally as well. I'm Barry Wilkinson. Hello especially to all of our friends watching on Digicel Sportsmax. Now, it's been a very crazy week in cricket. We have a new Test captain. Jason Holder is the man in charge. On today's program, Tino Best talks about his former teammate and gives him a full endorsement to be captain of that West Indies team. We also go far and talk to Mike Haysman, the South African who is of course a cricket commentator, and he also thinks that it might be time to move on, although he is questioning if Holder was the right man at the right time. On today's program as well, Tino is having a new autobiography. That's right, Tino Best is bringing out a brand new book come October. We all look forward to that. We're going to give you all of the details. And the controversial moment of the week in cricket: was he out or wasn't he? I'm talking about Ben Stokes and that run-out decision given by umpire Joe Wilson, who is a Trinidadian. Joe Wilson gave him out at a very strange time, and England went on to lose that match. We'll talk a bit about that. All to watch within the next half an hour of Massey United Insurance's Line and Length.
Across the Caribbean, more people are placing their trust in Massey United Insurance for the protection of the things that are important to them, their homes, businesses, and their prized possessions. That's because Massey United Insurance offers excellent general insurance coverage to help you manage whatever life sends your way. Our cadre of well-reputed agencies and trained insurance professionals are always ready to provide you with sound advice and prompt service. Choose the security and sound strength that is Massey United Insurance.
So welcome back to Massey United Insurance's Line and Length. We have not seen this man in a long time. Tino Best is back on the island after about 4 months playing some cricket in England. Tino, it's really good to have you back. I see you're wearing your Barbados Pride shirt. Does that mean that Tino Best is going to be turning out for the Barbados Pride after, even though you were not part of the auction this year?
Yeah, actually, I'm looking forward to being part of the setup. It's a very touch and go. Some of the senior players are going to be away with the West Indies tour, and obviously me as one a prime candidate in myself. I think that I should get a look in.
If you do stay serious.
Yeah. Probably looking forward to it.
Now look, Tino, we got a number of things to talk about. Let's start the agenda. This is hot off the press. Tino Best is bringing out an autobiography. And what better name to have for his autobiography than Mind the Windows? You remember that infamous incident, or famous incident, however you look at it, it was back, in 2005, was it? 2004. This little audio we have here. Yeah, Freddie Flintoff was just telling him to mind the windows, trying to entice Tino to come down the pitch and take a slug. You've decided to name your autobiography Mind the Windows. No need to say what was behind that. Yeah,
I just think that it's really catchy. I think that autobiography should be celebrated. I think that most of the time when players do bring out autobiography, they're talking about slander and they don't like this body and this body is this. I think that your autobiography, your time in cricket or your time going through or going to that path to the pinnacle of where you want to succeed in life should be celebrated. You know, I didn't really have no big beef with anybody while playing cricket, so I don't have anything bad to say about anyone. You know what I mean? My autobiography is about letting people know what Tino Best originated from. If you know Barbados Defence Force Sports Program, there are not people in England who know that I came through the Army program. I was a part of a military athlete. Nobody knew that I never played on the 15 or on the 19. Right. Nobody didn't know that as a kid, being late for on a 19 training session, I got yelled off the field because I came late, and I never got an opportunity to play. But in a year time, I was playing for Barbados and West Indies. Nobody knew I got discovered from South Africans bowling in the nets. Right. You know what I mean? No one knows that. So this is something that I wanted to share with people and inspire young cricketers. You might be rejected as a youngster. You might not be able to make your team at this moment in time, or whatever the case may be, but you can't give up. I think that athletes should be an inspiration to younger athletes looking up to them. And not just going by an autobiography, oh, I don't like Barry Wilkinson, oh, I don't like Jason Brown, oh, I don't like this body. It's foolishness.
Yeah. How old are you now, Tino?
I turned 34 two weeks ago.
Okay, so you're still actively playing cricket, and you're going to be bringing out this autobiography this year. Well, I guess you will be playing. exactly when do you plan to launch it?
Me and my ghostwriter, because obviously I write some, but my ghostwriter mostly do a lot of work. He writes for Cricket Info. His name is Jack Wilson. And we're looking at October. Obviously, we're looking at October, November to bring it out, because it's a very easy read, and I connect. You know, we did some rough pages, like, you know, when I speak to him, we did like some rough printed, and I give it to like my aunt, Philip Dufresne, a couple of guys at Lashings to just have a rough read. And Adam Holiot said, Tino, this is one of the coolest stories, bro. I didn't know this. Like, this is on a different level. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's awesome. I got a little personal about me, my son's mother, and how that relationship went off the ball and stuff like that. But it just goes to show you that, you know, cricketers' life should be celebrated, and not, you know, you shouldn't be writing about slander.
Well, I look forward to it, I got to tell you, mainly because you're the main character in it. Now, you were away for at least 4 months playing cricket professionally for Lashings. What was that experience like for you? Did you draw a lot of, when you were over there, did you draw a lot of inspiration for your book from that experience?
Yeah, of course I did. Lashings is like a, you know, we go to different towns, different villages around England and play. You know, sometimes we play in front of 3,000 people. And, you know, every time I go, we play about nearly 30 or 40 games. And just going to the village and seeing the kids being so inspired by Tino Bass and ask me how fast they can bowl. And, you know, everyone saying, well, you're not playing for West Indies. And, you know, it's amazing to just connect to all those people. And I mean, when you do over 6,000 miles in your car over 3.5 months in England, the amount of people that you meet and interact with, even when you drop a comment like I'm bringing out a book, they got a whole club so that we can't wait to read your book. I mean, like, it's amazing, because that is the pinnacle. You know, England is the headquarters for cricket, and it was always said to me that anytime English people and English fans love you, you're going to be taken care of.
Yeah, that's the fact, especially with cricket. They have a huge market, followed by India, then followed by England. In terms of the forward, it's going to be written by none other than, I understand, Freddie Flintoff.
Yeah, Freddie, we connected with Freddie as well. Freddie's an awesome human being, awesome man. And, you know, he's going to forward it as well. You know, Pierce Morgan's going to say a couple of things as well. And, you know, and Devon Malcolm, who I met when I was about 8 years old, and I told him I'm going to open a batting for the West Indies and smoke him like Uncle Carlisle. You know, my uncle is going to say a piece. I got Courtney Brown in there saying a piece.
If your uncle is going to be in it, it's going to be a very long read.
Yeah. So it's just like people who played with me and who encouraged me and who was an inspiration to me, and mostly brother Courtney Brown, who I hold in very high esteem. You know, him and Floyd Reefer, who I think made me got about 200 wickets for Barbados. Just their guidance, you know. And for Courtney Brown to captain me, I remember I think I got 100 wickets for Barbados in 18 first-class matches because of Courtney Brown and his captaincy and the way he used me. You know, he made me play for the West Indies. So it just goes to show you that, you know, inspire. That's my main objective. Even when I go down to practice at days, down Kensington Oval, I try to inspire those young cricketers, because, listen, as it was told to me back then, I'm telling them now. Don't play this game and don't get anything out of it. Yeah. You need to go play this game, make sure that you work your butt off, and make sure that you can provide for your family, and make sure you can provide for your very close one, your kids. You know, make sure you put a roof over their head, because cricket is a very lucrative game. It's a very lucrative market for cricket, and sometimes you might not play for West Indies, but you can play all over the world and make X amount of money, like more money than the prime ministers, and you're not even on the international scene. So cricket is a huge market, and I just want youngsters to tap into it. And just build their legacy, you know what I mean? Carly Best left a legacy for me. Sir Garfield Sobers left a legacy for me to fulfill. Joe Garner left a legacy. All the great players left a legacy, and I'm just trying to carry on that legacy and to inspire the next generation of Barbados and West Indies cricketers to extension.
Final question in this segment. Ryan Hines sat in this seat 2 weeks ago and said that he's given up on playing for the Guyana Jaguars because he's 34 and not 24. You're 34. Have you given up on playing for the West Indies again, or do you still hold in your heart that is a possibility?
Ryan said that he gave up playing for Jaguar. He just playing for. He's
going to actually just be coaching UWI.
He's not interested in going Guyana. No. Okay. I'm not giving up. I'm not retiring. No. You know what I mean? Like, I love this game. You know, I'm strong. I'm young. I'm fit. If it comes on a stage that I do get a good performance in, and I could turn up for T20. You know, that's the market again, T20. You think about Ryan, everybody got to make their own decisions, and whatever people feel comfortable in their own skin and feel comfortable in only situations. I won't be a winner, Barry. You know what I mean? Not that I'm trying to play for West Indies, play 50 more test matches or whatever, but I won't make sure that once I'm strong enough, I'm fit enough to compete, I will compete. Brett Lee is a big inspiration to me. Brett Lee just retired at 38 or 39. I was bowling 152 kilometers. That's an inspiration to me. You know, and me and Brett Lee are very, very, very close. Actually, Barry, he's supposed to say a couple of things about our first interaction, and he said, you know, I inspire him as well. I was like, are you serious, Binger? He's like, yeah, you're always an inspiration to me, the way you play your game. You know, you might not be a world beater, but the way you, and the passion that you play this game with, you know, it's something that I want to be celebrated and I want people to understand. You know, I remember years ago we were in Sri Lanka and some of the guys would boycott. And I remember we had this meeting and I said, I will play for West Indies for free. It didn't go down well with some of the players, but I said to the guys, listen, I will play for West Indies for free because as a little boy, watching my uncle play cricket, watching Malcolm Marshall play cricket, watching even Molester Burrows from Empire Cricket Club playing cricket, you know what I mean? I wanted to be a cricketer. I didn't care about when money come. If I play well enough, money will come. And I will play for West Indies for free. That is just me. That's not everyone. I can't speak for everyone. But that's how much I love the game. And we only got a limited time to play the game. Huh? I know Sobers would love to be playing now, but his body can't play. His mind can play, but not his body. So whatever time we have playing physically, we have to execute and we have to enjoy it and be an inspiration.
All right, wonderful stuff. All right, we're going to stay with Tino. When we come back, I hope the new West Indies captain is watching. Tino says he's still available. We're going to talk about Jason Holder's tenure coming up as Test captain and much more when we come back on Mass United Insurance's Line and Line.
Across the Caribbean, more people are placing their trust in Massey United Insurance for the protection of the things that are important to them, their homes, businesses, and their prized possessions. That's because Massey United Insurance offers excellent general insurance coverage to help you manage whatever life sends your way. Our cadre of well-reputed agencies and trained insurance professionals are always ready to provide you with sound advice and prompt service. Choose the security and sound strength that is Massey United Insurance.
So we're back on Master United Insurance's Line and Length. Of course, the news broke about 2 Fridays ago that Jason Holder, the 23-year-old Barbadian who had already been named as captain for the one-day side, is now going to captain the test team, taking over from Dinesh Ramdin, who had captained that test team for a period of about 15 months. Now, first of all, you've nurtured Jason virtually. I mean, when you made your test debut, Jason was in primary school. He's 23 years old now. He's young. He's energetic. How do you see Jason coming into the test team, as captain?
I think that is a good move. I think that we need to start developing our young players, and Jason was built for this. You know what I mean? He went to HPC, and I remember I think it was on a West Indies tour, and I think it was someone from the HBC said that most of these players at the HBC that we have invested in have to lead West Indies cricket.
Yeah.
And it's worked out.
That was a sure bet.
That was a sure bet. And it worked out good. All Jason needs is support. Jason just needs whoever senior players are left there, maybe it be the Marlon Samuels, the Dinesh Ramdins, need to support him. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And Jason's he got to be strong. Yes. You know, you got to be strong. He has to be assertive. And you got to put his foot down. Not put his foot down as in disrespecting any players, but making sure that he can inspire his players. And there's one thing about being tough. I remember when I first made Barbados team, Philo was tough. Philo was very tough, like a taskmaster, but he wasn't inspirational because we lost like 3 or 4 games straight. You know, Courtney Brown wasn't as tough, but he was inspirational.
Okay, see where you're coming from.
Courtney used to give speeches that, you know, for king and country guys, you know what I mean, blood, sweat, and tears, and we give them. Well, Philo was a little tougher, you know what I mean. Philo's an awesome captain as well, but it's little things that leaders are born with, and it manifested itself when Courtney Brown won the Champions Trophy with Ian Bradshaw. I remember saying no having drinks with Courtney, and Courtney said, Ian, Brady, we batting sinks on the 15th together, buddy. We bring this home. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's Courtney Brown. Courtney Brown have always been an inspiration to any young cricketer who wants to listen, and that's exactly what Jason needs to do.
Right.
Give Courtney a call. Give Barbados captain, the most successful captain, a call.
Yeah, well, he's a selector. Yeah.
You know, ask Vivian Richards a question. So he just needs to tap into great leaders. Clive Lloyd, great leaders of men. Can't be a bully. You can't bully your troops. I want them to do well. You can't bully your troops and got them in the trenches and you sitting down in a chair watching them in the trenches. You got to get down in the trenches with the fellas.
I'm going to put an interesting question to you because you're part of the question. The selectors have been sidelining the more experienced players and they're obviously peeling now and sticking with youth. I mean, Marlon Samuels is the oldest player in the team right now. Do you think that's the right move, or should they still try and pick a team that is representative of the best players in the region, or should they continue with this young band of players that they're going with?
I think it's kind of like touch and go. I think cricket is an old man sport. Why I say that, right? Justin Langer, he said
You're talking about Test cricket?
Yeah, talking about Test cricket. Talking about cricket in general. And Justin Langer said cricket is an old man sport. And I kind of realized what Justin was saying. The way that I bowled at 23, 24, I don't bowl at 34. I'm a lot more patient. Understand where I'm coming from? I'm a lot more patient. I can hold a line longer and relax on that line. When it was 22, 23, I wanted to blast people. So the older you get, the more experience you get. You get better with age. And if you keep yourself strong, I think you should get an opportunity. You just gotta, like, I'm not giving up. You know, I'm gonna ride hard. I'm gonna work hard. I'm gonna make sure that I put in a big performance for Barbados Pride. And something is I've always really that always worked for me was concentrating on the job at hand. My job at hand is Barbados.
Yeah.
Running, bowl quick, and make sure that I continue to strive for excellence for Barbados cricket. And extension, if I do that job well, maybe the selectors will give me an opportunity, because I think that once you do well, they're going to pick you. They picked Devon, you know what I mean? And, you know, Devon had 114 years. Yeah. So at the end of the day, you know, you shouldn't really give up. So you just got to keep grinding. All right,
time is running out on us. Issue of the week. Ben Stokes, that controversial run out. Joel Wilson, the third umpire, of course he's Trinidadian. He made the call to give this decision out when many felt that Ben Stokes might have just been protecting himself. You saw it. You were there in England. What were your immediate thoughts when you saw this? Did you really think that Ben Stokes was obstructing the field?
When it happened, I don't think that he intentionally went to put his hand. I just think it's just a reaction. He turned his hand, went like this, and the guy just threw the ball and it hit in his glove. I mean, to be honest, it looked on camera, you know when things are slowed down,
yes,
and speed up, it looks like, he was so new, or of course not. If you look at his head, he was looking away. Yeah. He was trying to take evasive action. He wasn't looking at the ball. And I think that was a bad decision. I think that if the batsman in question was looking at the ball and held his hand out, but if he's turning his back, he doesn't know where his hand is really. If you look at the video closely, so you know, what good for the goose got to be good for the gander too. So yeah. I think it's a little touchy situation. I would not have given him no.
Speaking of England, when you were there playing for Lashings, you were on one of the most popular, if not the most popular, sporting programs on television, called A Question of Sport. What was that experience like for you?
It was fantastic, you know, to be in a live audience with about, let me see, about 300 people live audience. It's like they have like a stand, they have a built-in studio, Question of Sport. It was fantastic, and my team won.
Who was on
Matt, a young lady called Tisima, she plays netball for England, myself, and we were against two rugby players and the craziest man ever in the history of cricket, Philip Tufner.
Oh man!
Tuffers, yeah. So it was an awesome experience. You know, the funny thing about it, people who don't watch cricket, and me being on the train and was on Question of Sports, like, you were on Question of Sports. I mean, you're on the tube when people ask you that. So, you know, I love England. England's a very warm place, and for my son, that's something I really want my son to experience, travel the world. And get to understand and interact and experience different cultures. So, you know, it was fantastic. You know, probably next year or in the coming years, they can go on different ones. And, you know, just expand, spread my wings. So, God is good, and I just want to continue to strive for excellence.
Wonderful stuff, Tino. It's always great having you on the program. When we come back, we're going to head to South Africa and talk to Mike Haysman. We're going to talk about the West Indies captaincy and also upcoming series. South Africa, they're playing in India, and the West Indies are going to Sri Lanka, and a couple of other questions. But first, you're watching Massey United Insurance's Line and Length.
Across the Caribbean, more people are placing their trust in Massey United Insurance for the protection of the things that are important to them, their homes, businesses, and their prized possessions. That's because Massey United Insurance offers excellent general insurance coverage to help you manage whatever life sends your way. Our cadre of well-reputed agencies and trained insurance professionals are always ready to provide you with sound advice and prompt service. Choose the security and sound strength that is Massey United Insurance.
Well, welcome back to Massey United Insurance's Line and Length. As promised, Mike Haysman, of course, we all know Mike, former cricketer and a well-known commentator. We're going to talk about a couple of issues. We're going to start with the home drums beating first for us. And Mike, it's so good to see you once again. First of all, you would have heard the news about Jason Holder being touted as the new captain for the West Indies. When you heard about that, did it strike you as something fresh for West Indies cricket?
Oh, Barry, first of all, as always, nice to chat to you. You know, I thought it was a progression that was going to happen, but not so quickly, to be totally honest. I mean, Jason Holder, when he first did the job in South Africa, and obviously I was working on that series, and I'm sure a lot of people in the Caribbean watched it. I mean, they were not very good, and I'm afraid Jason's captaincy, even though he had to rely on a couple of senior players, wasn't particularly impressive either. However, the World Cup, I could see some growth. We've certainly seen some growth from Jason as a player. I think we'd all like to think that someone of his height and someone of his physique can bowl a good yard and a half quicker. Yeah. But I mean, he's got an exceptional talent. He really has, and he's certainly proven his spot with a bat as well with that terrific century. So I don't think he's right for the job, but I wish him all the best, and I really think he's going to need some serious help from guys around him, some senior players in that team to help him for a little while longer still.
What do you make of Dinesh Ramdan's captaincy? Because having said all of that, Ramdan in 15 months would have had some limited success.
Yeah, that's right. And I think there's clearly looking for a bit of a sweep of the broom there in the Caribbean to get the West Indies side, a couple of the younger boys in there. And I must say that Dinesh, I think, did a pretty good job in South Africa when he had the reins. So, you know, but I do think it's just a natural progression, and maybe it's happened a little bit too early. Maybe they're lumping too much on the shoulders of the new skipper, but I'd like to see it work well. That's my bottom line. I'd like to see it work well. He has the potential. He's a fine player. Just needs to be a little bit stronger in the park.
Now, you know, the West Indies are going to a place like Sri Lanka where their success has also been very limited. But you might say it's coming at a time when Sri Lanka as well are rebuilding. No, Jayawardena, Sangakkara just retired, and Matthews, Chandimal are still a team that are also trying to find their feet. How do you see that series, a 44-day series, 3 tests, ODIs and T20s?
Yeah, look, it's a solid series. I mean, any series that's over a month these days is considered fairly long, and there's a lot of cricket that's squashed in there on tracks which will be doctored to suit the Sri Lankans. They are the best in the world, full stop, and I'm even taking consideration the recent Ashes series. Sri Lankans are best in the world to make sure, and I use the word doctoring because I think it's right. It's what teams should do when they're playing at home. Doctor your pitches to suit your strength. Now they've got a couple of vicious spinners as well, but the tracks will more than likely turn square, as they did when South Africa toured there a couple of seasons ago, and it will be really tough. There's no doubt about it. The tracks are very challenging if you're not used to playing on those sort of wickets, and I'm afraid a lot of your guys won't be. So it'll be a tough call.
Now, you know, having said all of that, it's still a month away. There's another tour that's going to be going on while the Sri Lanka tour is going on, and that's South Africa. They're going to be playing, of course, against the Indians. That's also a very full tour all the way down to December. India, talk about doctoring pitches and having great home advantage. They're the kingpins for that. How do you think are South Africa's chances going to play in India for a full ODI and Test series?
Barry, 72 days, that tour. I mean, that's extraordinary. That length is quite ridiculous. And it starts off with 3 T20s, then goes to 1 days, and then 4 Test matches. And I want to focus on the Test matches because that's where the guts of the tour is going to be. And the South African squad was announced yesterday. It's thin on one area, full stop, bowling. I'm really concerned about it because I say thin on the bowling front. They've only picked 4 seamers, of which one is Hussey, who is a very talented youngster, is 20 years of age and looks like he's really got the guns. But he hasn't really played at this sort of level and this sort of conditions are going to get in India. You've got Dale Steyn, you've got Morquin, you've got Vernon Philander. And then you've got spinners. Now, you've got Imran Tahir, who in my book should only play one-dayers and T20s. He shouldn't play Test match cricket. I've seen him get smashed all over the place in conditions that really favour the spinners, e.g. Sri Lanka the last time they toured there, not to mention when they played at Adelaide against Australia a few years ago. Imran Tahir should not play Test cricket again. That's my view. It hasn't worked for a long time. Bit of success in Pakistan and the UAE, but that was the only time he got it together. But the problem is you've got Dane Peete, who's played 1 Test match and then had that horrible shoulder injury. He's an off-spinner. Then you've got Simon Harmer, who's also an off-spinner, who can give the ball a bit of a rep, but he's only played 3 Test matches. So it is extraordinarily thin on the bowling front if there's any injuries, for starters, from the seam point of view, and also the spin department. If I was the captain of that Test side, I would have very little confidence in the spin issue. And that being said, they're going to play on sandpits. I mean, when Australia toured India in 2000, when was that? 2013, and Australia lost 4-0 with the home work gate and whatever. They were playing on sandpits in that Test series, and 2 of the venues, Chandigarh and Delhi, are going to be used again. So they're going to be sandpits. There's no doubt. They're going to nullify whatever pace attack South Africa do have, and they're going to bank on their spinners who have been in really good form recently. Ashwin's been great, 21 at 18 in Sri Lanka. Mishra 15 at 15, I think it was, that he got in Sri Lanka as well. So their spin department is going to be far superior than South Africa's, and they're going to nullify the South African bowling attack with the surfaces. And it's a long, long tour. They are travelling. I've looked at the schedule, and obviously after doing quite a few IPLs, they are travelling all over the show. So it's going to be a very, very tough tour.
You know, at least you have Hashim Amla and AB de Villiers, 2 perhaps of the best batsmen in the world, so that should at least speak something for the South Africans as we look forward to that series.
The thing about that, Barry, is that there's no doubt that the South African guys who have played in India quite a bit, and I'm headlining the IPL guys in particular, because of that experience, their play of conditions in India against spin has improved dramatically.
All right, now let's get to the issue of the week. That controversial run out in the ongoing ODI series being shown on Digital Sports Max between Australia and England. What did you make of that run out with Ben Stokes? Was it a fair assessment by the third umpire, Joe Wilson, to give Ben Stokes out?
My simple explanation is it was out, full stop. I mean, you've got a situation where, yes, there was no doubt that Ben Stokes was reacting to a throw from just past mid-pitch from Mitchell Starc, but the fact that he stuck his hand out, yes, in the split second, and almost caught the ball. I mean, that was the thing that caught me straight away, and that's a damning situation when that happened. So he stuck his hand out. The ball, in my view, and Wade said the same thing, looked like it was going on to hit the stumps. So he stopped the ball willfully by almost catching the ball as the ball left Stark's hand at a rapid rate, it must be said, to try and run him out with Stokes being out of the crease. So, yes, there was a lot of debate, and it was great, the debate. I can see that some people who've got one eye closed in England might think that it shouldn't have been given out. But in my book, it was watching straight away. And I think it's important also that the real-time action was looked at by the third umpire rather than the replays, because the real-time action was what it was all about. But out, OUT out, he was out of his ground. He stopped the ball with his hand by almost catching it from hitting the stumps. Had it hit the stumps, he would have been gone.
All right, wonderful stuff. Look, Mike, I want to thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you, of course, in the series upcoming, South Africa and India. And we'll continue to stay tuned with you for your expert analysis. Thank you so much, Mike Haysman. Well, thank you so much. That's it for this week's show. I want to thank Tino Best and Mike Haysman. Next week, we got another good one for you. Make sure you tune in then. Bye-bye.